In 1980, the median home price in America was around $47,000. Median household income was around $21,000. That means homes cost roughly 2.2 times income. Today, according to National Association of Realtors and housing market data, the median home price in many major U.S. markets is pushing $420,000 to $500,000 plus. Median household income? Around $80,000. That's over 5 to 6 times income. In some cities, 8 to 10 times income. The math broke, and wages didn't keep up. Housing exploded. Interest rates exploded. Insurance exploded. Taxes exploded. But salaries barely moved. And now millions of Americans are asking the same question. How much money do I actually need to buy a house? So let's answer it.
My name is Eric, and I spend way too much time thinking about the hidden mechanics of wealth, the invisible equations, and the financial traps that quietly keep ordinary people broke. If you're someone who works hard, makes decent money, and still feels like owning a home is somehow moving further away, or if one bad Tuesday could destroy your entire financial year, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Because what I'm about to show you is the brutal math of buying a $500,000 house in 2026. And once you see the numbers, you may never look at real estate the same way again.
Let's say you buy a $500,000 house in 2026. We'll use realistic assumptions. 20% down payment. That's $100,000 upfront. Already impossible for most Americans. According to Bank of America surveys, many Americans don't even have $10,000 saved. But let's assume you do. That leaves a loan of $400,000. Now, let's assume mortgage rates in 2026 are around 6.5%. That's not crazy. That's realistic. A 30-year fixed loan at 6.5% on $400,000 means principal and interest alone around $2,528 a month.
And we're just getting started. Now add property taxes. Average property tax in America is roughly 1.1%. That's $5,500 per year, or $458 per month. Now, homeowners insurance. Averages around $150 to $300 per month. Let's say $200 per month. Now the monthly payment becomes $3,186 per month. Still not done. HOA? Could be zero, could be $500 per month. Let's use $150 per month. Now, $3,336 per month. Maintenance? Financial experts recommend 1% of home value annually. That's $5,000 per year, or $417 per month. Now your real monthly housing cost is $3,753 per month. And that's before utilities, internet, trash, water, lawn care, repairs. Suddenly that $500K house is costing you nearly $4,000 per month. That's $48,000 per year, after tax, just to live there.
Now let's do the brutal math. Lenders usually want your housing payment below 28% of gross income, and total debt below 36 to 43%. So if housing costs $3,753 a month, that means you need monthly gross income of roughly $13,400 a month. That's about $160,000 per year to comfortably afford it. Comfortably. Not barely survive. Not paycheck to paycheck. Comfortably. And if you have student loans, car payments, credit card debt, kids, you may need even more. $180K, $200K. In expensive states, higher. That means the average American household cannot comfortably afford a $500,000 house because median household income is roughly half that. This is why people feel broke. They're trying to buy houses priced for upper income earners with middle income salaries. Now let's say you only put 5% down. That's $25,000. More realistic. Now your loan becomes $475,000. At 6.5%, principal and interest, around $3,002 a month. Add taxes, insurance, HOA, maintenance, and now PMI, private mortgage insurance. Usually around $200 to $400 per month. Now your housing cost is around $4,400 per month. That means income needed? Roughly $185,000 to $220,000 per year to comfortably afford it. So the lower the down payment, the higher the monthly pain. People think smaller down payments make homes affordable. Sometimes they just make homes possible while making you house poor.
Nobody talks enough about closing costs. On a $500K house, you may pay 2% to 5%. That's $10,000 to $25,000 up front, on top of the down payment. So your 20% down dream actually requires $110,000 to $125,000 cash, minimum. That's years of saving. And while you save, prices may rise, rates may rise, insurance may rise. The target keeps moving. That's why so many Americans feel like they're running on a treadmill.
Here's where it gets uglier. Property taxes don't stay fixed. In places like Texas, New Jersey, and Illinois, property taxes can be brutal. A $500,000 home in some counties can mean $8,000, $10,000, even $12,000 a year. That's another car payment, forever. And unlike rent, you still pay it even after the mortgage is gone. People think, I'll own it outright one day. You'll still pay taxes, insurance, maintenance. The house never stops costing money. In states like Florida, California, and Louisiana, insurance premiums are exploding. Wildfires, floods, hurricanes, climate risk. Some homeowners now pay $400, $600, $1,000 a month just in insurance. And some insurers are leaving entire states, meaning fewer choices, higher premiums. So even if mortgage rates drop, insurance can wipe out the savings.
The roof doesn't care if you're broke. The HVAC doesn't care if you're broke. The plumbing doesn't care if you're broke. The foundation doesn't care if you're broke. A new roof, $10K to $25K. HVAC replacement, $8K to $15K. Water heater, $1K to $3K. Foundation issues, $10K plus. And these don't arrive politely. They show up randomly, usually at the worst time. This is why homeowners need emergency funds. A house without savings is a financial emergency waiting to happen.
People love saying renting is throwing money away. That's not always true. Sometimes buying is throwing money away. If you buy a $500,000 house with high interest, high taxes, and sell in 3 years, you may lose money. Closing costs, agent fees, interest, maintenance, repairs. A huge chunk of early mortgage payments goes mostly to interest. On a 6.5% mortgage, in the first year, most of your payment is interest, not equity, meaning you're renting from the bank. The break-even point can be 5-10 years, sometimes longer. Renting gives flexibility. Buying builds equity slowly. The right answer depends on how long you stay, local prices, interest rates, taxes, maintenance, and opportunity cost. That $125,000 down payment, invested at 8% for 30 years, becomes over $1.25 million. That's real money. Now, owning a home can build wealth too, but only if appreciation outpaces costs. And not every market does. Real estate is not automatically a good investment. Sometimes it's forced savings. Sometimes it's a liability. Sometimes it's both. Who can actually afford a $500K house? In places like San Francisco, San Diego, Seattle, New York City, $500K might buy almost nothing. A condo, a fixer-upper, tiny space. In places like Dallas, Atlanta, Phoenix, you get more house, but taxes or insurance may rise. In the Midwest, you may get a very nice house. So affordability isn't just income, it's geography. America is becoming a map of winners and losers. People buy based on lender approval, not affordability. Huge mistake. Just because a bank says yes doesn't mean it's wise. Banks calculate risk, not comfort. They don't care if you can vacation, invest, relax, or sleep. They care if you can pay. There's a difference. House poor is real,
and it destroys financial freedom. You own the house, but the house owns your paycheck. Realistically, dual income professionals, tech workers, doctors, lawyers, business owners, remote workers earning big city salaries in cheaper states, or families with large down payments. Inheritance helps too, a lot. That's the uncomfortable truth. For many Americans, a $500K house is no longer middle class. It's upper middle class territory. And in some markets, still not enough.
So what do? Buy less house? Increase down payment? Move markets? Wait for rates? Boost income? Reduce debt? Improve credit? Or rent longer and invest the difference? There is no perfect answer, but there is math. And math doesn't care about feelings. The brutal truth is, you're not crazy. Housing really is harder now. The math really is worse. And millions of Americans are quietly struggling with the same invisible equation. The dream didn't disappear. The price changed. If this changed how you think about buying a house, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.